Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike from CICHLID. Last week, Will took us through his aquariums and showed us how he did his water changes and some of his filter maintenance. In today's video, I'll take you around our house, show you how we do our water changes, and added a few new fish. So if you're ready for some cichlid therapy, then let's get to it. So before we get into what water changes here look like, we wanted to share with you some of our new additions. This week, I drove a little over an hour north to one of our favorite local fish stores, London Town Tropicals. I'm not going into a full-fledged review, but let me just say, they've got a fantastic inventory. I've wanted to add a few fish to both my 55-gallon in the military room and a few different peacocks and haps. Will was looking for a fish everywhere and couldn't find it. London Town had everything we were looking for. I was able to add 3 Geophagus Altifrons to my 55, a Taiwan Reef, a red Borelli, and a Star Sapphire to my 40-gallon grow-out, who eventually will move to the 210. Will has been looking everywhere for his wet pet, and finally found it. This is him coming over to pick up his blue umbi, and we're excited to watch it grow. Now to the water change process. Water changes on the 17 aquariums in our home normally take about 5 hours. Most weekends, I change the water in the smaller tanks on Saturday night and the larger tanks on Sunday. I do it this way in order to conserve hot water, ensuring that when changing each tank, I can do my best to match the temperature of the water. The water change process in the basement is as simple as it gets in our house. Fortunately, we have a sink with great water pressure, allowing for me to use the Python when vacuuming the substrate in each aquarium. I don't vacuum every week, but definitely keep an eye on the detritus and any uneaten food building up, and do my best to keep the substrate as clean as possible on the surface. The Python is also what I use to refill each aquarium. To drain the aquariums, I use 2 pumps. One small pump that does a great job of slowly draining water that I use on smaller aquariums, and the CICHLID Ultra Zero pump to drain the larger tanks with. As I mentioned earlier, I normally start Saturday night changing all of the water in the 2 40-gallon breeders, the 20-gallon, the 55-gallon Red Tiger Moda grow out, the 75-gallon Red Terror tank, and the 10-gallon grow out with the Meso Hero Sonatas. During last week's water changes, I noticed that both my 55-gallon RTM grow out and the 75-gallon Oscar tank in our bedroom were both a little bit cloudy. So I decided to add a little bit more filtration to each to keep up with the bioload of the fish. On the 55 RTM tank, I decided to use the FX2 that I bought on Black Friday for 40% off and was still in the box. Using the biomedia from the 307 and relying on the sponge filter to ensure that I didn't crash the cycle. I then added a brand new biomedia to the Fluval 307 and added it to the 75-gallon Oscar tank in our bedroom. You could almost immediately see the difference. Sunday mornings I start with the larger aquariums, moving clockwise. First, I drain the 125 Mbuna tank, and when it's about 50% drained, I move to drain the 75-gallon Black Nasty, 25 to 30%, while simultaneously refilling the Mbuna tank. I repeat this process around the room, finishing with the 210 Hap and Peacock tank. This process takes about 2 hours. In the afternoon, after allowing the water heater to replenish, I normally change all of the aquariums in the military room. This is where I had to get a little creative in the winter. Because the water pressure on this level of our home is not the greatest, I set up this 75-gallon tuff and fill it up with water matching the temperature of the aquariums. While that tuff is filling up, I use both pumps that I have to drain all of the aquariums, starting with the 55 gallons. When the 55 gallons have drained to about 50%, I use the smaller of the 2 pumps to start filling those 2 aquariums. When the water from the 29 Misfit and the 125-gallon South American tanks have drained, I move the CICHLID Ultra Zero pump to the tuff to fill those aquariums. While the water is either being drained or refilled, I make sure to clean the glass using both magnetic flipper scrubbers and normal glass cleaner with a microfiber towel. The 75-gallon Oscar tank is the easiest of them all. I simply use the Python connected to our bathtub to both drain and refill the aquarium, always making sure to keep the glass spotless. Well, that does it for today's video. If you have any comments about how you do your water changes or have suggestions for either me and Will, leave them in the comments section below. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and until next time, be safe.